All right, my name's Kyle Hall, and I'm going to be talking about unpacking standards. This first standard is for grades 9 through 10, reading standards for informational text. The standard itself is cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences from the text. So this standard comes from the Common Core State Standards for English Language Arts in California. These are the same standards that are adopted by most states in the United States. And I chose this standard after talking to the teacher I'm going to be doing my student teaching with, because she communicated that while some students do need the additional help with math, almost every student needs a lot of help with writing and identifying sources and strong arguments from those sources. So that's why I chose this standard. I decided to unpack this standard the old school way, using paper and pencil. So first I wanted to identify the skill or the verb, and we are going to be citing evidence. The next thing I want to do is to underline the concepts. This is what the students will be doing. So I know that they're going to be using their skill of citing, and what they're going to be citing is textual evidence to support analysis. Lastly, we want to find the context in which students will be doing this. So the context is what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. Boom! Standard unpacked. Next, let's look at the big ideas, which are finding the right supporting evidence makes analysis strong. Inferences can be made using details from the text. The main skills are identifying, looking for themes and patterns, categorizing, elements, textual evidence, is it pertinent or not, highlights, all right, you should be able to highlight things that represent foreshadowing, annotations, identify important elements of the text, and citing evidence from the text. So the first activity I came up with is called collaborative annotations, and this is the article that I chose to do as the example. So first you want to group students heterogeneously. I'd group students about 3 to 5 students per group. First, you would like to explain what a collaborative annotation is. It's a process in which a group of students explain their thoughts about a text or copy text. Students are encouraged to interact with each other via the writing process. The text itself should be something interesting to your particular class. The copy should be attached to a larger sheet of paper, such as a poster-sized piece of butcher paper, and each student gets a different color or pen and must record their name on the document in the chosen color. This color codes the responses so you know who wrote what. Next, you'll want to show students what a successful annotation looks like. You should use a different document than what you're giving to the class. So what I have here is a sample document of just a couple rough annotations I did on an article just to show students what it would look like. So you want to make sure you give each group the materials. Each group receives only one copy of the article, so it's necessary for you or a volunteer to read it aloud. Afterwards, assert that students are to remain silent throughout the activity. If they have something to say, they must write it. As you can see, this is a good activity to support written communication through articulation. During this activity, you should rotate with your own color pen, make comments for groups that seem stuck. Ask students questions on paper about their thoughts related to an issue in the article. For closing, you can ask students to share their group responses, and you can require students to write some type of response to the article. You could also give each student an exit ticket and ask them how they felt about the activity. The second activity is kind of a play off the first one. This is a jigsaw with annotating. I would suggest this kind of activity for pairing up students who maybe one student is grasping a concept and the other one needs to be guided through it. Or you could group homogeneously and you could put students together who have the same skill levels and try to assign students different parts of the article that are more difficult than others. Once students have all completed annotating their own sections or parts of the text, you can have students report back to the larger group and tell everybody else the meaning behind their section. As formative assessment to check for understanding, I would have students complete exit tickets in which I would give students an article with the main idea, and in order to be able to exit and pack up for class, they would have to give me one detail that came from the article that is a supporting evidence. For my summative assessment, I would give students a article that is challenging, and I will supply students with the main idea, and they will have to sort through the text and identify details that support this main idea. Now, the text may have some additional information that isn't useful or does not support the main idea that I'm looking for. So there will be some skill involved with students identifying the best uh, parts of the passage and best lines to show me the main idea is supported.